You're a Cut that out. Cut that out. That's crazy. You ready, gang?
Let's get it.
This is a mashup between Champagne Convos and Tahari Talks. I'm Durant. This is my girl.
I'm Bree.
You already know. We appreciate y'all tapping in. We're going to have a good show for y'all today.
All right, so just so that y'all could get to know us a little more, we're going to play a quick game of this or that. I prepared a few this or that's as well as Durant. So you want to bounce back and forth?
Let's do it.
All right. No money or no love?
Ooh, out the gate?
Out the gate.
I'm going to go no love.
All right. Well, I need you to no, that's just not enough. Describe your answer in like 1 or 2 sentences.
Yo, I feel like money gives you options.
Fair.
And I feel like love, my father-in-law says this all the time, romance without finance is a nuisance. And so like without the finance piece, like it don't matter. The love, it will fade eventually. Unless you're talking about your moms or your pops, like at some point, if you're struggling with somebody and they're the connection to your struggle, you end up the party.
Damn. Well. I'm
Sorry,
going.
yo, that's out the gate, my bad.
Out the gate. I guess I asked for it. I'm going no money. I feel like there are so many people that have all the money in the world and they have no love in their life. No spouse, no friends, no children. The people that work for them are only there for the money. Look at Wendy Williams. The people around her that are left are only there because they are on payroll and she wants nothing more than to have love in her life. Dang, I ain't mean to go case study straight out the gate, but like for me, I'm choosing love every time. Every time. Maybe that's just the lover girl in me.
Maybe. Honestly, I think Wendy might have hurt you in that example though.
Even without the Wendy.
But but you use Wendy. So
all right, we here. Come on, let's go.
We're friends, like, so with the Wendy joint, like I watched the joint, like that joint hurt. I was like, dang, that's messed up. But like if you really watch her, like she actually isn't looking for love. She's looking for fame. She's looking for liquor.
She was, but now she's just like,
when
we're not filming. Yes, when we're not filming, I am not happy because I don't have presence of another human being. Like she literally just wanted the camera crew around her for companionship. That's a lack of love.
Okay, you connecting dots, I ain't connect. So
yeah.
I'll roll with it, but I don't know. People that show up in LA when everybody that likes her, loves her, told her to stay put, and you go to a meeting to try to get a TV show while you look crazy, that's not somebody looking for love. Somebody looking for pain. Just my thoughts, you know what I'm saying?
Fair.
Anyway, lover girl over here. Let's start with, if you were about to watch a movie, do you want to know the plot of that movie, or do you just want to sit down and watch it?
I want to sit down and watch it. Don't tell me, because you're going to piss me off. Because then why am I watching a movie if I already know the plot?
Respect. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't like when people be like, what's it about?
Yeah.
Like, what we doing here?
You
like,
can give me a little synopsis. I might look up the trailer on YouTube, but don't tell me how it ends, because then I'm getting up.
I don't even watch the trailer.
I just need to know a little something.
I'm the guy that shows up in the Netflix, and like, if I just like the cover art, I'm with it.
Absolutely not. I'm watching a little preview, and then I'm going to decide, are we watching this or not? But don't tell me the climax, and don't tell me the ending.
You on the wrong side of this. You answered this wrong.
No, that's not knowing the entire plot.
Basically, the trailer's giving away.
No. What's your...
I just want to show up. I don't want to know nothing. I want to watch it the way the director intended me to watch it.
You know you're talking metaphorical to life.
See,
all right.
Keep going.
Eat the same healthy thing forever, or whatever unhealthy foods that you would like for life.
Eat the same unhealthy thing forever.
No. Same healthy thing forever, or whatever you want, but it's unhealthy for the rest of your life.
Healthy.
Same.
Yeah.
What's your meal?
I like life.
Yeah.
What's my meal?
Yeah.
For unhealthy?
What you meal prepping for the rest of your life? No, for healthy. It gotta be healthy.
Let me do a kale Caesar salad.
Ew.
And they gotta let me rotate proteins.
It's no rotation. Same thing.
Nah. You said it just gotta be healthy.
Same healthy thing forever. I'm going salmon, rice, broccoli. That's all I need forever.
That's fire. I do love rice.
That's it. Give me a little jasmine rice. We good.
Okay, cool. I'm with it.
All right.
One's gotta go. This might get a little controversial.
All right.
Quanza or Juneteenth?
Quanza gotta go. We not forgetting the day that we got our freedom.
Ooh, so we separate.
We not forgetting that.
You just gonna
my ancestors are not gonna allow me. I feel like I can't get to heaven and look my ancestors in the face and say I forgot about Juneteenth. Kwanzaa, we could celebrate peace, love, and together and unity any day. Wherever we could light the candle. I'm not downplaying the holiday.
No.
However, Juneteenth, we not forgetting that.
See, you doing this we thing. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because isn't Quanzaa rooted in like African?
Unity.
So you're not part of we?
I feel like Kwanzaa is where it started and Juneteenth was a little progressive and we just can't forget. Like the roots are going to be the roots, but we're not going to forget about the day where we got our freedom. That's huge.
Okay.
What you got?
I actually agree. I'm rolling with Juneteenth.
All right.
Reluctantly, my father probably not gonna like that, but I'm rolling with Juneteenth.
Sorry, Dad.
Rolling with Juneteenth.
It's my turn?
Yep.
Move to another country or stay in the city you're currently in?
Move to another country, easily.
Hands down.
Not
Hands down.
Where would you go?
It's definitely gonna be an island. It's gonna be warm. I'm gonna be able to walk out of my house and be on the beach.
You want to move to Cancun?
I'm not mad at Cancun.
I am.
I'm not mad at Cancun.
It's a nasty word.
I'm not mad at it.
Why?
I'm just not mad. Not saying it's my first choice, but I'm not mad.
You should never move to Cancun. I wouldn't support that.
Where you going?
Cape Town, South Africa.
Fair. I never been to
Food
say.
was insane.
Okay, I'm with it.
All inclusive, or you want to be in the elements?
I'm gonna book the all-inclusive, but I'm not gonna eat all my meals on the resort because I want to immerse myself into the culture at the same time. But I need to be able to walk to the bar and get a drink and you're not asking me to show ID in my wallet.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect. So she basically didn't answer the question. I'm gonna go all-inclusive. I like simple. I don't like having to think a whole lot about what I'm about to do next. When I'm on vacation, I don't want to think.
Fair. But if the all-inclusive is nasty and the liquor is cheap, then what?
That was a personal problem before you got there.
I'm just saying.
I guess we have experienced that before.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we was young, you know.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, that was bad.
Just happy to be drunk. Vacation or French trip?
Vacation or French trip? What's the date?
Whenever.
Nah, I need to know the date.
It's October.
If it's like, vacation.
All right, it's summertime. I know, that's how I said that.
Nah, you ain't catching me.
Summertime.
Summertime?
Yeah.
French trip, easily.
Ooh.
See, just that face about to get me in trouble. I don't like the way she playing.
Nah. Because I was gonna say it's hands down vacation, but then I'm like, my best friends? I'm still going vacation.
God bless you.
Hey.
You better than me.
We didn't cheers. That's very ghetto. So before we get into the actual topic, cheers.
Cheers. Episode 1.
Episode 1. So today we wanted to get into something that is very prevalent on social media. It is the gender wars, specifically for us in the Black community. If you scroll TikTok, if you scroll YouTube, pick your social media, Instagram, you're gonna inevitably see at least 3 podcasters every scroll session talking about the gender wars, talking about what women bring to the table, talking about 50-50, talking about dating, talking about other things. So we wanted to unpack that, get to the root cause, and talk a little bit about what we think would absolve the gender wars.
I like that.
So I want to start off with a question.
Hold on, before you jump into that. Cheers. You ain't take no drink, and that's.
Oh, that's crazy. I was too ready.
Left me hanging.
Cheers. Let us know what y'all drinking. What would you say to the viewer that says that we have no seat at the table for this conversation because we are both married? And to take it a level deeper, we are both married to people that we have been with for a very long time. And typically gender wars have a lot to do with the dating scene, which neither of us are in.
Very true. What would I say is very simple. Do you not talk to NBA players if you're trying to play basketball? You know what I'm saying? Like what sense does
Exactly that. Exactly
what
that.
sense does that make? Like I've gotten to a point where I would think that you're aspiring to get to. And so the concept of I don't know how to get you there when I'm there doesn't make a lot of sense in my mind.
Yeah, I would say the same. Like, who better than two people who are married but not married to one another to offer insight on this is what's going left from our POV, and this is how you could get out the trenches and come over here.
Yeah, and if you really think about, especially the two of us, like, we got a lot of friends that come to us
Yes.
with their stuff.
Yes.
So it'd be different if I was like just married, I'm in the house, cooped up, I don't talk to nobody.
You're not in the group chats, and you do.
I got a lot of single friends.
Yeah.
So like I know what the pulse of the culture and the dating scene is. So because I've achieved what you want to achieve, I can't talk to you about achieving that. Like,
Right.
what are we talking about?
I like that.
What are we talking about? Like, so for you, like, what do you think the source of all of this is? Because I feel like this is new. Like, last 2-3 years, it's really like bubbled up into a daily conversation. Like,
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from?
I think social media has made it jump, but I think the real source, if we're going straight into it, I think the source comes from fear. I think the source comes from insecurity. I think the source comes from feeling inadequate, as if you're never going to be good enough to be loved. And I feel like a lot of people want to impress people of the same sex. I feel like men are trying to impress other men because they don't want to seem like simps. I feel like women are trying to impress other women because they don't want to seem like they're being stupid and putting themselves in a line of fire to be hurt because they've been hurt. I feel like we're listening to a lot of people converse when they've been tainted through relationships and dealing with people in the dating scene and being burned. And so now they're showing up as this hardened self that's not even their true selves. I think a lot of the people that get on those mics don't even believe the things that they're saying. But they say it because it's cool. They say it because it has shock value. They say it because this is gonna go up, it's gonna go viral. And they say it because it's the cooler thing to say. Nobody wants to get on camera and be like, yeah, I wanna be loved, but I don't see that happening for me. Or I fear being alone, or I fear getting to old age and we're still having these same conversations. Nobody's gonna, it's much cooler to be like, women are the problem and XYZ, toxic.
It's funny you went straight to women are the problem. That's funny.
Hey.
No, I think you're spot on. I think a lot of it is rooted in pain and underdeveloped thoughts. And that ain't me calling y'all stupid. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying it's very easy to say generalizations and then find reasons to support those generalizations.
Yeah.
It's just severely underdeveloped.
For sure. I also think a lot of the loudest voices on social media are not the ones who are on the flip side of it. Like, there's not as many husbands who want to be husbands because they want to be husbands and not because their wife or girlfriend then said, get married to me or else. They're not the ones with the mic typically. It's typically the guy who's in the dating scene and he's alpha or beta male and wants to spew these toxic mindsets onto younger, impressionable minds or people on his same level. Whereas there are a lot of men who are out here married. 51% of Black men do get married and are married.
Talk numbers.
Let's talk about it.
Talk numbers.
But you don't see them with the mic. On the flip side of that, only 1 out of every 4 Black women are married or will ever experience marriage or being proposed to or the institution of marriage. And that's a disparity.
Yeah. So those stats are interesting because like 51% of Black men, I never heard that one. That's fire. 1 out of 4, I think something that a lot of people don't consider is there's just a lot more women than men. Period. Forget Black, white.
Women altogether.
There's just a lot of women, right? And so like when you start thinking about it from that perspective, I understand how we got to a point where we're just spewing pain.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like it's easier to just I had a bad experience with, let's say I'm speaking as a woman, like I had a bad experience with a man. That experience has jaded me. I speak from pain, and it's easier to go find generalizations that support my pain.
Yes.
And so I don't care to develop my thought around that pain. I'm just gonna continue to support that pain at scale. And so that's what I think is happening, is like people go through one bad instance or two bad instances, and now it's easier to just label everybody as they ain't good.
Do you think that's happening on the platform and when the cameras and the mic gets turned off?
Yes.
And when they're sitting with themselves? Like there's never a point of introspection. There's never a point of maybe I wasn't my best self in this situation either. There's never a level of what can I do so that I don't remain here? Like it just is what it is.
I wouldn't say it is what it is, but I think it's hard to cut through the noise, right? So like you hear it in a podcast, then you see it on Twitter, then you see it on Instagram, then you hear it in the songs. Like how do you avoid it?
Yeah. Oof.
There's a different level of like, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a different level of accountability you gotta take and like looking intrinsically to be able to say like, yo, I can't listen to none of that because a lot of this is on me.
And it doesn't align with where I'm going and what I want. Like that's just gonna keep me 10 steps back.
But it's easier to just roll with whatever supports your current pain.
This is true.
You know, if you think about Yelp, most people leave negative reviews.
Right. They're talking about the negative.
It's easier to point out what's wrong with your job than to leave your job.
So when I asked you about, do you think that there's ever a point where people cut off the cameras, cut off the mics, and then they have this introspective moment or period of time where they're like, maybe that isn't how I really feel. This isn't who I really want to be moving forward. I think that ties itself into the whole social media is smoke and mirrors. And social media is a fake place that a lot of people go on for ideas, theories, and mindsets that they take into their real life, not being able to separate the two. So you go online, you're scrolling, you hear this mindset that the person that's saying it maybe doesn't even believe in real life, but now you take it into your real life. And these are the mindsets that you're going into dating with. And you're putting people in the line of fire to potentially hurt because you heard this and now you're implementing it.
Yeah.
Where does I guess my question is, at what point is someone held accountable for that? Like you just out here and you just knocking them down and then what?
I mean, look, like everybody's accountable whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
Like that's happening, whether that happens today or 15 years from now when you realize you squandered the last 15 years when you could have had somebody.
Yeah.
Right? Like we both know people that like when you talk to them, they're like, dang, I let that one get away.
The one I got away.
And you be like, bruh, you let them get away and I told you not to let them get away. And I think a lot of people are striving for a highlight tape versus like the game film. You know what I'm saying? So like, and my guys will follow me on this. Like, you looking for like LeBron doing windmills at all times with a woman. Like, she gotta be 5'6", fatty, bad, don't talk back, like nothing.
Docile, very docile. Meek and mild.
You looking for perfection out of that. But that person doesn't exist at scale. You know what I'm saying? Like, the baddest joints in the world get divorced every day.
Hello.
Every single day. Like
they get played every day.
And so that's the way I look at it. Like people are looking for Instagram in real life.
Yeah.
And that doesn't exist.
And that I think is the danger. And I also think that's what makes us, I guess, the most credible to come to the couch and have these conversations, because in marriage, it's not always pretty. There's no highlight reel until you post the pictures and until you post whatever. Like, you're going day to day with this person. You're building with this person, especially in our case, being with somebody from 17 and 18 years old. Every day is not gonna be cake and ice cream. Like, it's gonna be some days y'all eating ramen out the cardboard box, but y'all doing it together. And so to experience that, but then you're hearing conversations where it's like, if he can't buy me a Bottega, or if he want to go 50-50, or he want to take me to a smoothie shop or a cheesecake for the first date, then it's a dub. What? Yeah. You're never gonna find him, and if you do, it's gonna be for the wrong reason, so it's not gonna last.
It baffles me that people that ain't never been out the country want a Bottega.
Oh, you ate them up with that.
That's babbling. Like, what are we talking about? You live in Atlanta and ain't never been to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Somebody's supposed to buy you a burger.
Yes.
What are we talking about?
Yes.
Like, what are we actually talking about? And same thing for the fellas. Like, you respectfully, I respect every place y'all work, but respectfully, you work at the factory with Amazon.
Yeah.
You ain't supposed to have the baddest joint in the world. You just not.
Yeah.
You setting yourself up for failure. Like, yes, they took your whole Amazon check this week and ran it up. Why did you talk to her in the first place? Y'all live two different lives.
I think that's not your league, baby.
I think a lot of these gender wars are rooted in like a rebellion against what we were taught when we were young.
And what is that? Because not everybody was taught the same thing.
Generally speaking.
Okay.
This is me speaking in generalities. But like, what we were taught when we were young was like, you find somebody that you vibe with, and y'all rock. Y'all rock. But like, they didn't grow up in social media. So like, social media teaches you to be impatient and to be unreasonable. And so like, impatient and unreasonable is like
recipe for disaster. Yeah, what are we even talking about? Like, do y'all even like each other? Can y'all hold a conversation beyond 50-50 and who's paying? Can you sustain life with this person? You always say, you taught me this. I think one of your parents said, your dad said he been with at least 7 different women in the span of their marriage. And how long they been married? 30-something years. Can you experience 7 different versions of this person and love and learn to love each version of them? What is that going to look like if the money goes and they can't buy you the bags and take you on the trips and fly you out? Like, are you going to stay? That's the conversations that people aren't having beyond just the gender wars. Because the gender wars is really about how do we get to the point of dating? How do we get to the point of long-term? How do we get to the point of marriage and then building a family? But that's only the beginning. Like, there's so much life that happens after that point that nobody is really talking about. Like, we're so stuck on the conversation of how do we get to dating? How do we get to marriage? That we're not talking about how to sustain these marriages so that they're healthy and thriving. And we're not like our aunties, which goes back to the fear. I'll speak for Black women. A lot of Black women talk about their auntie that has been married to the man for 35 years and she can't stand that man. She does not love that man, and she's literally staying just to say that she has, or because her financial future is rooted in him, or because she's fearful to be alone. And women don't want that, and I understand that, but then why is the conversation not turned to a point of how do we sustain long-term healthy marriages?
Well, I'm of the unpopular belief that any 2 people can work if they decide they want to work.
Really?
I don't believe in soulmates. I don't believe in none of that. Like,
any 2 people.
Any 2 can decide if they really want to make this shape, they can do it. It's gonna cost something. Everything costs something. You know, I talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
At what cost?
At what cost?
But any 2 people can make it work.
You watch Love Is Blind?
Yeah.
AD and Matthew would have been a thing.
Made it work.
They could have made it work.
Somebody got it. It's a negotiation.
All right.
It's a negotiation. Like, that's the way I look at it. Like,
do you feel like in that case, 2 people making it work automatically equals settling for one party, at least?
I think everybody settles.
Ooh, speak to that.
There's no 100 out of 100. Period. That's the speak right there. Like,
is compromising settling?
Yeah, a form of it.
Yeah, I would agree. I never put it that way in my brain, but
it's word for French, but
yeah,
it's just compromising feels better because there's not a negative connotation to it. But it is settling.
It is.
You know, like, think about let's take it out of relationship world. Like, if we were like, yo, let's go out to eat tonight, and you like, yo, I really want seafood. I'd be like, I kind of want steak, but you had a seafood restaurant in mind. I'd be like, let's say steak 48 because they got a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's not exactly the seafood. It's
not what I wanted.
You settle.
Why do you think that the gender wars is so prevalent in the Black community, but you don't see the Indian community or the Asian community or the white community having these same debates? What is it about us?
They are having them though.
You think?
It's just not in the algorithm. We don't talk to them. Like if you think about, I don't know the number one country star in the world right now besides Beyonce. All respect. I don't know them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like when I listen to thought leaders in the white world, they having the same conversations.
On this level.
It just sounds different.
What bills is this woman paying? What is she bringing to the experience?
The language is different.
Okay.
So like, they're like, women don't know how to be women anymore.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but
I see a lot of it. But I also seek out some of those thought leaders.
Yeah.
I think we talk about it like we do everything else. We put a lot of sazon and spice on top
every
of it.
single
and so
time.
Of course it goes because we talk crazy.
Yes. Yes.
We're really good at entertaining.
Yes.
And so why I think we've dove into it so aggressively is because one, it's entertaining. So of course we love entertainment, but two, it falls in line with the other trauma that our environment, our culture experienced. Like, single family home, single parent homes,
mass incarceration.
All of that. Like this falls right in line with the dominoes. And so it's just easy for people to point fingers like that.
And say it's just us.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. Nobody wants to look in the mirror and be like, yo, this is kind of on me. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
What do you think?
I think it's exactly what you said. I think that if Black women and Black men realize how powerful we were together, that we would be unstoppable. And I think that, like you said, it's easy to talk about what's going wrong and not what's going right. And so we're distracted. Like even shift into a spiritual gear. You a PK, I come from a preaching family. I think that part of it is spiritual warfare, is distractions to keep us in the argument of, what do you have to bring in? Where are we going? How are we dating? When it's not really about any of that. The whole purpose is so that Black women and Black men do not create family units that continue to breed success and healthy children and healthy members of society that can reproduce the same thing for generations and generations to come. Even going to the Bible, when God put two humans on this earth, it was never a mother-son relationship. It wasn't a mother-child relationship. It was not a brother-sister. It was man and woman, husband and wife. And so I personally believe that that is the most important relationship, the most, what's the word I'm looking for? The most precious, for lack of better terms, relationship in God's eyes. And so why would he not want all of his children that want that to achieve that? But we're so busy talking about gender wars and 50-50 that we can't even get to that point.
Yeah. I look at this gender war piece as we aren't acknowledging that like the way that we are today as men and women and the way we interact should be different than what it was as well. Like,
oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
Like, when we talk about tradition, everybody expects like men should do this and women should do this.
Gender roles.
And I think precisely, right? And I think that today's day and age, like women are out earning men at this point.
Especially Black women.
100%. And so like the roles are shifting to some degree, the dynamics are shifting. And so I think there's a combination of things happening in my opinion. Like women are starting to figure out, like I hear it all the time, why I need a man. And because they've equated needing a man to financial provision.
Yes, financial
only,
security, yes.
Right? And you know that there's way more layers to that than
so
just that.
Much more.
And we know there's plenty of women that have had men that can provide that they didn't get anything else out of. They walked away. So I think there needs to be a level of development in terms of how we view each other as well. Because even men, like we look at women as eye candy and just shut up and just go chill. Like just make sure the house cool. But the environment that we live in today, the society we live in today, doesn't vibe well with that right now. Like, you got to develop your thought process around that.
It's more to it.
Yeah, it's not that simple.
It's not that simple, because I think a lot of the women and men who are having these conversations, if they got every single item that they say is on their checklist, there would still be a whole list of needs and wants that are not being met because it's things that they didn't consider, because that layer of the conversation is not being had.
No, it's just easier to cancel people out. Like, oh, no, you don't make enough. You gotta go.
Yeah.
But eventually you run out of people.
Then what?
And now you just stuck by yourself, cat
lonely.
food. For guys, you at the gym, and now you lurking around these young girls looking crazy. Like that don't work.
Would you say that a lot of I'm not just going to target men because I don't want to attack men. A lot of the people who are having this conversation, specifically men, the issue roots from not being raised by a man, and so they don't even know how to operate as a present father, a present husband, a present fully healthy male, and so then they just become a toxic male instead.
Toxic male, that's strong.
Toxic male is crazy.
Toxic male is
toxic man.
Man, male, whatever.
You know.
Crazy. But I think, I mean, let's just call it what it is. Like statistically, being raised by a single parent, specifically a single mom, not to come at y'all, but like the statistics support it. You end up being like, you have a higher likelihood of not being a positive contributor to society. That's a fact. Like, you know, I ain't just come out the blue with that. So yes, I do think that plays into it. Like fathers matter.
100%.
Mothers matter, absolutely, but fathers absolutely matter.
Yeah.
They kind of dictate what you do and do not do, like philosophically with your life. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Like, because if I think back to like a lot of my boys back in high school and college, the ones that didn't have dads, they found a dad whether we liked it or not.
I.e. like pillar in the community, big brother, or what?
Or worse.
Ooh.
Or Lil Baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, or 42 Dugg.
An idol.
Somebody was dad.
Yeah.
They might not call it dad.
Yeah.
But they got the t-shirt.
That's
they
good.
Got the hair. You know what I'm saying? They idolize somebody.
Yeah.
You know, so
emulated whatever they think is that.
So if this is what I define as man, I'm going to copy him.
Yeah.
And we might not like the version of him that he picked.
And now you're lending yourself to the dating scene and spewing whatever you emulated onto women who have no idea what they're in for.
Yeah, and I can do the inverse, right? I think women do the exact same thing.
For sure.
You know, like when I see a lot of women at scale talking like a Sexy Red or whoever else, I don't listen to all them, Lotto and company.
Yes,
like,
and company.
That whole crew, like they lit, don't get me wrong, they rock. But like, what they embody, nah, I'm not with it. Like, what are we talking about? But like, everybody has to find someone to aspire to be, whether they like it or not.
And they will.
They might not admit it, but they do it. What do you think of like the whole concept of men should be strong and not show emotion, like that whole profile, versus women should be in their femininity and soft and all that type of stuff? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that lends itself to toxic masculinity because at the end of the day, male or female, you are human. You have emotions. And if you do not find a proper outlet to express those, then they come out in the worst ways. While I do believe strongly in every single male, people period, but especially males, because I think that a lot of men lack this, especially in relationships. I do believe that men should have emotional control, but I do not believe that a man should always have to be strong and act like he's not feeling things. Black men go through a lot, especially in this society, and I do think that there should be space held for that, especially in relationships. Like, cry if you need to, be held if you need to. Make sure your heart is well. Make sure your heart is being held in its proper space. So I don't agree with that. I don't think men are always strong, nor should they be promoted to be or encouraged to be always strong, because it's not realistic. Women, on the other hand, I do believe that we should always be feminine, but there are places where masculinity does have to exist. There are certain times when I'm out and about and I gotta put a little more bass in my voice because I got my 2 little kids with me and somebody is trying us, or I gotta let this person know I'm not to be played with right now. But then I'm getting home to my man and my voice is a little lighter because now I'm in my safe zone and I could be more feminine. So I think there's a time and place for everything, but I do think that lack of femininity does lend itself to the gender wars, and I do think that men are wanting women to be more feminine and rest in that femininity, but to play women's defense, a lot of times we can't. We have to be in survival mode. We have to be strong. We have to be always okay.
Why is that?
Survival mode. So I'll speak for myself as a stay-at-home mom, being my first ministry in this season. There are times where I want to have a breakdown, but I can't because there's 2 little people looking at me waiting for goldfish and blueberries. Like, baby, you can't have no breakdown. You better go in that pantry, shed your tear, wipe it, and come out and be all right. Like, there's no space for that in this moment. Now, when I'm in the shower later, am I gonna have my crying session? Cool. But right now, like, there has to be times where you control it and be able to turn it on and be able to turn it off because there's not always space for it. Yeah. I feel like that's life. You may feel a way about your coworkers, you may feel a way about higher up, but you can't go in a conference room crying. You gotta show up and be corporate Durant, and then it might be space and time for that later on in the car when you sitting across the table from D. That's a different conversation. It's space for that. Sure. And so I do think that a lot of women want to be more feminine, but they don't have the opportunity to be because either they haven't had that opportunity, they haven't had that luxury, they haven't had the privilege of being feminine. And same to men.
I like it. I think we agree on this. I think femininity, that was crazy. I think femininity and masculinity are responsibilities.
Ooh.
Like,
say more words.
So let me start with, say more words is crazy.
Say more words.
Let me start with masculinity. Like, I don't like the phrase or topic of toxic masculinity.
Why not?
Because it's like, it's a buzzword. I'm not a big buzzword guy.
You hate buzzwords.
It feels like virtue signaling. That's a buzzword.
Okay.
I don't like them jumps. They just too easy to throw around.
Yeah.
And they lend to underdeveloped thoughts, in my opinion. Not to say that yours was, like, it was well thought out. But masculinity, in my opinion, like, it's a responsibility because it should mean that you are capable of strength. You are capable even of violence. You are capable of making people uncomfortable, but I call it a responsibility because you have to be responsible in when you unleash that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, if you are incapable of violence, you're not a good person because you're not violent. Mm-hmm. You're a Cut that out. Cut that out. That's crazy. So no, like, I really feel like it's a responsibility. Like, you should be capable of doing all the things that are framed under toxic masculinity.
Yes.
You just should control yourself and not be toxic.
Emotional control.
Right? And same thing with femininity. Like, you should be soft and docile and all those types of things where appropriate.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you just walk around like a wet napkin and just get thrown all over the room. Like, it just means
never given
that in the appropriate space, you aren't fighting. Like, you should not always be fighting for your life.
Especially as a wife.
100% as a wife. But even as people trying to be a wife.
Yeah. Because how do I know you can be that if I never see it before you are that?
Yeah. I try to take dating outside of dating and just talk about life. So, like, I hear this a lot from women specifically. Like, oh, I'll be submissive or soft. Oh, yeah, I know that's
another buzzword.
That's a trigger word. But I'll be softer and more wifely when he shows me that he deserves it. Or when he put a ring on my finger. And it's like, bro, like, would you ever purchase a car that they say drives really, really smooth if you ain't never drove it? No, you just wouldn't, right? So why would committing my life to someone be any less important? Right? Like the principles don't transcend very well.
I feel like this is the exact debate we were having before we both got married in Vegas in the pool that time, or in Cancun, because we were both talking about how me and Andy both wanted y'all to pop the question, and it was conversation around submission, and basically you was standing 10 toes. Like, I'm not being forced into any, like, I need to see some stuff.
Facts.
I'm not mad at it.
It's expensive.
It is.
And I'm not talking dollars.
Money.
I'm talking, it's expensive, period.
Yeah.
Emotionally, financially, spiritually, physically, like, it's expensive.
Time-wise, and you can't get that back.
You talked about, like, with the kids, you don't get to have an off day. I feel that same way sometimes with a wife. Like,
yes,
I don't get to show up at home and just be like, yo, I don't feel like doing nothing. Don't look at me, don't talk to me, don't do nothing. There's a domino. Look at you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even you, and you like,
yeah.
What you mean?
Yeah.
Like, we gotta show up. So if I have to show up, it will be on my terms before I jump into that.
Fair. I ain't heard nothing wrong. What would you say to, because you talking about that made me remember or think about the fact that marriage and relationships in general are a mirror. And that's a lot of times what makes people fearful, because the things that you can hide off of social media, at work, in your relationships with your extended family, you can't hide in a relationship. Everything is going to be exposed. The imperfections will be exposed. The areas where you need to work harder will be exposed. And people don't like being told about themselves. So do you think that that is also a fear factor in, let's just talk about, let me keep you at door number one of, let's not even get to the point of dating somebody that I can see myself in a relationship with, because I got some stuff I need to work on first before we even get to this point, and you tell me about me and you see me in a vulnerable state.
That's it. That's literally it.
Yeah.
That's literally it. Like, it's easier for me to just say, all right, I'm gonna just point out all the flaws with you before you can point them out with me. It's a race.
A race to nowhere.
A race to back to the drawing board.
Yeah, because you're running in circles. You're not getting nowhere. No. Whereas if I put this mirror up to you and you see some stuff that you don't like, I don't like, but we could talk about it and then you could work on it, and then now we on to the next thing. Or you could reverse the mirror and now we talking about me. Like, that's way more productive.
But I think that goes back to like what I was saying earlier. Like, it's all, and you said this too, it's like rooted in pain.
Absolutely.
Like, it's rooted in disappointment.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it's rooted. So instead of me putting myself through that again, I'm going to be the one that inflicts the pain.
Let me strike you before you can strike me.
Literally. You gonna hurt me, I know it. So I'm just gonna hurt you first.
Self-sabotage.
Let me double click on something you said though. Well, actually, you didn't even say anything. You was just like, that's a buzzword. What was the reaction to submission?
I knew that it would be a buzzword. Like, for me, it used to be something that, as a Black feminist, like I used to identify as a Black feminist. In some ways I still do. And so I used to cringe at that word. Like, I remember saying to my uncle, like, I want you to do our vows, but you could skip over that part. But it's like, you can't skip over that part. If you want a God-ordained marriage, that's what comes with it. And so now me in my 30s understands that I've evolved into somebody that has no problem submitting. But me, younger 20s me, would submit to what? Submit to who? Submit how? Like, what are we talking about? And I think that a lot of women have that underdeveloped mindset and underdeveloped thought of, what do you, submission means that I'm being less of me. And it's not, that's not what it means. So I just knew that the moment you said that, somebody was gonna cringe the way old me would have cringed.
That's a fact. Yeah, no, submission is always funny. I like throwing that word out there.
You love it because you're not the one who has to submit.
I disagree.
You feel like you have to submit?
I think both people submit to the bigger task at hand.
Ooh.
Right, like, so like, the whole idea of marriage is to have a successful marriage. Anybody can get married. People do it every day. People get divorced every day.
Yep.
At a very high rate, right? So like, I feel like both parties are submitting to, here is the bigger thing that we're going for.
Yes.
Right, like, I would be a liar to say that I come in this house every day and I just call the shots and stuff just go. Nah. Now, there's some stuff that I'm gonna grind my feet into the ground and say, nah, I ain't budging. Yeah, but
absolutely,
there's some things that she do that with as well. And I'm like, cool. But we both submit to the bigger mission. Like, we're sub-mission.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think that lends itself to the structure of God first, the covenant first, then the man, then the woman. Like, every single day, people think that you say your vows and that's the choice and you marry and it's happily ever after until the end of time. But there is a choice every single day where you're choosing the marriage, you're choosing the we over me, you're choosing what you committed to. Some days it's not even about the spouse. I committed to God. And so I'm gonna honor the person that he linked me with because I made this commitment to him.
Obviously, you and Nate, like, what keeps you in them days where you're like, bro, I don't even feel like talking to this. Like, what keeps you rolling?
Our friendship. Sometimes I have to take out the idea that this is a marriage and this man just pissed me off so bad today. At the end of the day, before anything, that was my friend. Like, that is my homeboy. Like, I watched this man grow into a man from a boy. And so before anything else, you could piss me off in the husband capacity, but because you're my friend, I'm gonna give you a lot more grace than the wife me. Like, there's different versions of me. I always say, like, I have at least 4 girls in my head, and we be at the conference table having meetings and discussions when certain things go on in the day. It's true though. We got the admin, we got the fiery one that just wanna pop off, and when she's pissed off, we like, all right. The girl with the glasses is like, all right, everybody, let's talk about this. He's our friend first before anything else. And I know we're gonna get through it. I know we're gonna get on the other side. There are some days where it feels like the worst of times, but there are some days where I feel like God graced me in ways that he will never grace another human with the marriage that he gave me and the human that he gave me.
Honestly, it goes back to at what cost. When I say I live by that, I mean that, like, wholeheartedly.
You keep it ringing in my head, so I know you do.
At what cost? Every decision, like, at what cost?
Yeah.
Like, so there be days where I'm like, bro, I ain't talking to you. I ain't going. Like, leave me alone. Like, just go sit over there. I might go for a walk for 2. I did this one Saturday. I walked for 2.5 hours.
Legs was hurting like a motherfucker.
Boy, I was tired as hell when I got it. But I did it. You know what I'm saying? It was my way of just getting away. But, like, at what cost? The cost of that was coming back in here tired, looking goofy, because she like, so you done? I'm like, bro, you still on that? 2.5 hours? I ran 5 miles. Like, what we talking about? But nah, like, I really think about that, like, at what cost? So I really try to sit with whatever we upset about, or I'm upset about. Let me not put her in it, like, whatever I'm upset about. Am I gonna remember this in 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Probably not. Like, because most of our stuff be like, we playing words with friends, it's semantics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's a marketer at trade, I'm a salesman in trade.
Oh God.
So like the wordsmithing is elite. So now I just be like, bro, it ain't that deep. Like, whatever, it's cool. So that's what keep me going. Like, I know I'm not gonna leave. So like
that part, literally me to me. Like, are you gonna end it all? Yeah. No? All right, get over it.
You're not willing to blow it up. Like, what are we doing?
What we talking about? It'll be all right. Go up to your corner, cool off.
Super goofy.
Yeah.
So I do want to hear from you, like, because I ain't got no kids. I ain't got none. Zero. And I love being rich uncle. That's beautiful. For you got 2 little beautiful ones. How does that add a layer to, like, maneuvering this thing we call marriage?
It adds the thickest layer. The other day we were riding in the car and it was just me and Nate, and we had a day to just vibe and be around each other. And it's like a veil is removed when you get those moments where you can just be husband and wife and vibe. And me and my homeboy, we outside together. And he was like, I like this you. Like, we hold the hands, we vibe. I'm in the front seat, I'm not in the back seat with the kids handing out snacks. He's like, I like this you. And I'm like, what you mean you like this me? He's like, when you're in mom mode, you're a different person. And I wanted to go on the defense, but I sat back and I listened. He's like, when you're in mom mode, you're in a different mode. And I get it, because that's the mom you are. You're all in with your children. And I respect it. They're my kids too. Why would I not want that? But when it's just me and you, it's all about us. You're more relaxed. You're not as anxious. You're more goofy. We're vibing. And then to add the reverse to that, there are times where I may not agree with him as a parent, but I have to respect him as a parent, because they're just as much his children as they are mine. And so he may say something to them in a certain way, and I'm thinking, don't talk to my kids like that, but they his kids too. So now I got an attitude when really it's not about us, it's about the kids. Yeah. Or we're trying to make decisions about the kids where we may be on 2 different sides of the coin. And if it were not for having these kids and having to make these decisions, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. So it definitely adds a different layer. But one thing that helps me in navigating that is realizing that they are going to become adults. They're going to go out and find their own spouses if that's what they choose. And it's going to be me and him. We were sitting at the dinner table last night and the kids got up and started playing. And me had a thought, like, when they get older and they're out the house, this is what it's gonna be. Make sure you have something to talk about. Make sure you're not sitting here in silence. Make sure you're not sitting across from a stranger once these kids get older and they're gone. So yeah, it's a thick layer, but sink or swim.
That's different.
It's a lot.
Y'all figuring it out though.
We figuring it out. One day at a time.
They don't be playing with them kids though.
At all,
He
okay? He don't play with them and I don't play about them. He don't play about them either, but it's different. Feminine versus masculine, mother versus father.
We need each other. That's
you know?
just the way it goes.
And I see that so heavily. Like they have such a balance that not everyone will be able to say that they had. And I see the necessity of it as they're growing in a way that I wasn't able to see even though I had it from my parents.
Yeah, you get to see it firsthand.
It is different.
You get to see it firsthand. Nah, bro, men need, let me be clear. Men need women.
Yes.
Women need men. Stop playing.
We need them.
Don't need it.
We need them. And there's such a safety that comes along with knowing that I have this partner with me that's riding with me, no matter what, right or wrong, agree or disagree, to the very end, highs and lows. Like there are days where I'm going through it as a stay-at-home mom. He stepped through the threshold and immediately my defenses are going, the survival mode is going, and I can rest in knowing that my partner is here.
Right.
Like I have somebody. We're out in public and I could be by myself and it just feels different. Like he's with me, all right, I got a little less to worry about. I ain't gotta pick up the check. I ain't gotta be on guard. Like if something go left, he got my back. Like it's nothing, there's no 50-50 conversation. There's no gender war debate. There's nothing that could top that, desiring that feeling.
You know they about to cook you on picking up the check, right?
Hey, that's fine.
That's what they looking for.
That's fine.
Every check.
Cook me.
Collective funds, yo. Like that's just the way it goes.
But there have been times where I collected the check. You gotta think, we've been together since we were 17 and 18. There were times I had to slide it under the table because I don't want you feeling away.
Been there.
I'm sure. But women today will look at that and be like, oh, you a pick me.
Oh, no.
You want, yeah, how could you? That's, hey. If I could do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing. Cause now he picking up the bills.
Talk.
Now I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm in my soft girl era.
Talk. Big soft girl. I'm trying to be on soft man. Does that exist?
I ain't heard about it, but you can make it a thing.
I'm about to coin it.
Hashtag.
I need that. I need that. Hey D, get right. You feel me? Like get right.
Not too much honor.
I like that. I like that.
Do you think the gender wars will end, and if so, how? That's where I want to end it.
I think they will end.
Okay.
I actually think there's a lot more of us than we realize.
Yes.
And people that are like because I see a lot of people getting engaged, people getting married and stuff like that, not just in my ecosystem, but like connected to my ecosystem.
Okay.
So I don't think it's all bad. I think just the bad people are they loud as hell.
They so loud.
So
they are so loud.
It will end. And I think there will be haves and have-nots. Like there will be no middle class. You know what I'm saying? So like there will be those that have found people and there will be those that have been screaming about, I don't need nobody, that unfortunately won't have nobody.
Do you think everybody that says they don't need anybody really wants somebody?
No.
Not everybody. Okay.
No. Even though I don't think anybody wants to actually be alone.
Yeah.
I think some people have found resolve in not being in a relationship, like in a traditional marriage of sorts.
I agree. And they have that right. That's not what you want, genuinely.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
All right? But don't end up somebody's side piece. You know what I'm saying?
That part. That part.
That tends to happen.
Very often. I do think there will always be an element of the debate. So I can't say that I think they will ever end. But do I think that people who may be in the conversation can pull themselves out and achieve healthy marriage and companionship if that's what they genuinely want? Absolutely.
I would agree with that. End is strong. End is strong. Yeah, like I don't know if they'll actually end.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they will calm down. Because eventually
they'll simmer down some. Cause
it will get old.
At what point?
To me right now.
Oh my God.
It will get old.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Well, y'all let us know in the comments what y'all think. If you have any commentary on anything that we said, I know y'all are not shy about that. Go ahead and drop that as well.
Yeah, just comment on her stuff. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Durant said, don't talk to me. I don't want to have no conversation about nothing.
I don't want no smoke. I'm sure I just stepped on some toes. Leave me be, gang.
Hey, go ahead and link your socials.
Oh, yeah,
Where can they find you to argue with you?
Oh, God. Yeah, Durant, B Fresh, Durant, BPHRESH. Champagne Convos every Friday morning, you know what I'm saying? Pop out, big on the accountability. And that's it. Holla at me.
And you can find me on Instagram at Brianna Tahari, on TikTok at the Brianna Tahari, and on YouTube at Tahari Talks. And if you're trying to get into the vlog teas, then you could tap into the thread life as well. See y'all there.
All right, guys.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Cheers, dog. That's a wrap.
We love that for us.
That was smooth.